Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. My name's Joe and you're watching Bourbon Battles and we got our special guest. Tell everybody who you are.
Hello, I'm Chris Schaff.
So Chris is spending the day down here in the Bourbon Battles studio. Chris actually won a giveaway and that's going to be the last video we filmed today, the first video that you see, and I know none of that makes sense, but here we go. This is the second video we filmed today. Just did a video. We don't even talk about it because I don't even know what order. Yeah, we will. We just did a blind battle. We'll leave it at that. So you're going to want to check that out. I think Chris was a little surprised on how that shook out.
Very.
So today what we want to talk to you about, you've seen these little short videos coming out leading up to this episode right here. Chris was here and I thought what better way to talk about the Blind Pig bourbon market in Bardstown, Indiana, and their store picks than to just do it with Chris. So stick with us and you're going to see what that's all about. We're back with Chris and the Blind Pig, and we've got 3 store picks and a bonus bottle. The bonus bottle is something David down there just said, hey, take this home and let me know what you think about it. Complete transparency. One of these is tough for me because it's got a smoky flavor, so that's why I wanted Chris to drink it. I don't care for that. It's my palate, but I think Chris liked it. So we're going to go through these one at a time. You've only tasted 2 of the 4 we're going to drink.
Right.
Hey, and what we want to do is an honest review. I've had the pleasure of drinking all these, so we're going to start with this one right here. This is Augusta Distillery Buckner Single Barrel. It's 10 years old. Have you heard of this stuff?
I have not.
So this particular one is 120 proof. It is a store pick. They went down there and picked it out. Hand selected by the Blind Pig there. This is 10 years old. If you're not familiar, this is not Augusta, Georgia. This is Augusta, Kentucky. So it is a Kentucky bourbon. This is not cheap whiskey. So when we talk about that, keep that kind of in the back of your mind. But it is a premium whiskey. Here of late, it's been getting a lot of attention nationally.
Okay.
People love this stuff. I think they have, just you're more than welcome to have more, but we got 4 to go through. And then we also got to film a couple more episodes and probably have a cigar before you leave. It's up to you.
Twist my arm.
Yeah, I know. He's really upset about that. So this is really interesting. I normally don't feel like this, but I feel like that once this is opened up, it's gotten better. Now, what I love about the Blind Pig, have you been there?
I have, yeah. Cool place.
It's a cool place. You can go in there and try this stuff before you buy it.
Yep.
Now, they're right there in the heart of tourism. I do believe they charge, but it's such a minimal fee. I think it just stops people from going there and getting drunk, right? Yeah. It's not cumbersome to your bill whatsoever.
No.
And if you're going on the Kentucky Bourbon Trail and you don't stop in there and try a few things, I think you're nuts. Because you drive past it.
That's a great opportunity. Yeah, you've missed out. Bunch of crazy stuff, bunch of traditional stuff.
And what you really need to do when you go down there, David works all the time. I've had the pleasure, I met David for the first time a week or 2 ago. Awesome guy, awesome store, love what they're doing. Make sure you tell them Bourbon Battles sent you. Because if nobody goes down there and says, hey, I heard about your Bourbon Battles, he's not going to give me any more store picks to try. And I need more store picks from him because I've been thrilled. In fact, we're going to do a 5th one just because Chris hasn't had it. This is sold out. See, well, now that one's broke. Look at that go. It's rolling across the room. If you've been watching Bourbon Battles for very long, you'll know that this is a brand new studio. And Chris will tell you this is tight quarters.
A little bit, but it's awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting. So
I know everything's within arm reach. So really,
yeah. And once we finish filming for the day, and I think we have 1 or 2 more episodes. One of them's real quick and easy, but we will make sure we'll get a cigar and you pick up any pour in the room. So if you want to be on Bourbon Battles, you show up, be cool like Chris, so you can try anything in the room.
Darn it!
Is there anything in here you've never had?
A couple.
So what do you think about this 10-year-old Buckner's from Augusta?
I really like it. It's really good.
It's really good. I have to believe that this is sourced whiskey. I don't care about that. Distilled and aged in Kentucky. Yes, it's not MGP. Don't know who they're buying it from. Don't care. I didn't do a drop of water, but it's good whiskey.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
And I think you watched the show, right? You watch the episodes. You understand the premise behind a lot of what we do. I think I did this, where I give it a grade.
Yeah.
And I think I said B.
Okay.
It's probably an A whiskey, It's freaky, isn't it? I got to
Yeah.
get that fixed. I got to get a regular switch on there. It's probably an A for me, but it's very expensive, so I take it down to a B. But when I always say B is above average, that means buy it.
Yeah.
Money's a relative thing. If the cost of this is cumbersome to you, then don't buy it. Buy something different.
Right.
That's why I don't ever talk about what things cost here, because, you know, for some people, a bottle of Benchmark is a lot of money.
Yeah.
For some people, buying a $1,000 bottle of George T. Stagg on the secondary market's not that big of a deal. That's why I don't talk about it. I wouldn't pay it because that's too much money to me.
Mm-hmm.
But probably really helped with one little drop of water.
Yeah, it really is. It's pretty smooth for, you know, it's what, 120?
120
proof.
Yeah, smooth. And yes, you can say smooth.
Yeah.
No matter what any of these dipshits say, you can say smooth. So what do you think? I mean, it's good whiskey.
It is very good, yeah. I would definitely look into this for sure.
It's not something that you just go smash in the weekend and throw it in a campfire. I mean, that's something you sit back, maybe even a special occasion whiskey.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So
nice sipper.
The next thing I want to do is we'll wait. This bottle right here, Chris tried this earlier. The other one that you tried before we started, we'll just barely hit on that because that's not a store pick. This is Old Bourbon County, Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, distilled, aged, and bottled by Hartfield and Company in Paris, Kentucky. Make sure you check these guys out online and read their story. They've got a really cool story. We're not going to get into it. Otherwise, this video will be 3 days long. But it's even on the bottle. Have you ever seen this before?
Never.
I've never had this before. So this is a little over 4 years old. Barrel selected exclusively for the Blind Pig. This is a very unique whiskey. And let's see, what's the proof on this thing? 121 proof.
121, yeah.
So I will go ahead and tell you right now that I do not like anything that has any hint of smoke. Like I would never drink a smoked old fashioned. You probably like them.
I do actually.
And I'm really in the minority on that camp, right?
Yeah.
My wife likes smoked old fashioned, smoked mezcal old fashions. So she takes that real smoky agave and then smokes it again.
Oh man.
Right, and she would probably add liquid smoke. Like she loves that stuff.
That might be that's a lot.
That's too much for me. I am not a fan of the smoke. Therefore, this one's tough for me. But I can't say that you shouldn't get it because most people like the smoke.
Yeah, different strokes for different folks. Yeah.
Like all I can taste is the smoke. Put like 8 drops in it. It's good whiskey.
I really enjoy it.
I like
the
smoked stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I love about what the Blind Pig does. They don't just go out and do a Buffalo Trace store pick and a 1792 store pick and a Blanton store pick. Like they get outside the box.
Yeah.
Right. And this is certainly outside the box.
Oh gosh, I've never seen it, never heard of it.
And if you walk into a place like the Blind Pig, who has a ton of store picks, and they do sell out, right? They do a big business, and they've got more coming. They're going to do more. And you love every one of them. They're not doing a real good job. They're just clicking things that they know everybody will like. They're not pushing the envelope.
Yeah. That's cool. It's a cool label too. It's got a little old school look to it.
So, like, I personally wouldn't buy that, but I'm guessing you would.
If I tried this there, and I probably would actually.
Yeah. So we're gonna skip around just a little. Yeah. If you like smoked stuff,
like there's definitely smoke. There's like a little bit of some butterscotch, but it's good. It's really good.
Like my buddy Lonnie, he hasn't been over since I've gotten that. He would love it.
Yeah.
It'd be one of his favorite bottles.
I would make it like an old fashioned with this, and not have to do smoking. I mean, right away. But it's good. That's a really good bourbon. I like it.
Now this is a really unique whiskey. This is not a store pick, but it's something that they have there. You tried this before earlier today. Yep. Look, you can tap your phone on it, and it's got you can feel the proximity thing in here. These people are freaking geniuses. I love this. Try this.
Yeah, we gotta.
I don't know how any of this works.
I don't either.
It did it.
Yeah, it did.
Did it bring up their website?
Complete. Yeah.
I'll be darned. So it's got a little thing here. You can tap it and bring their website right up. How cool is that?
That is very cool.
And if you don't have that on your bottle, I think that's amazing. This is 8 years old, 122 proof, 75 corn, 21 rye, 4 malted barley. The gentleman that owns this is Australian. So it's got this Australian theme. It's Larrikin Bourbon Company. It's out of Kentucky. Veteran owned, veteran distilled. We love that.
Yep.
Really cool bottle.
Yeah.
Got a kangaroo to knock the hell out of you. Look there.
Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
Yeah, so let's try it.
It's kind of cool. It tells you the mash bill, what type of barrel it was.
That is genius.
Yeah.
Like, I just became a bigger fan of theirs because of that sticker.
Yeah. The funny thing is, I did try this earlier.
It's very unique.
It's different, yeah.
Like, the first thing when I smell it, I get the Sharpies and the dusty books, even though it's 8 years old. My assumption would be that it's pot stilled. If I'm wrong, then so be it. This has really grown on me because it is so different. Like I said, this isn't a store pick. This is just something you go down there and pick up. This is the barrel proof. They have a regular one. And as David and I down there at the Blind Pig were talking, he's like, oh, you got to take one of these and try it. Full disclosure, they give me these bottles, right? So they're that's what they're doing. They don't pay me any money. David is not offended that I said that I'm not a big fan of this. I can promise you that. He probably actually really appreciates that more than anything.
Well,
Let's see what water does.
Not every bourbon's for every person.
That's a fact. And if it was, how boring would that be?
Very.
Like, I like some weird stuff.
You would not have this many bottles, that's for sure.
Exactly. I mean, as you can tell, there's some weird stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we may get to one. I'll at least have you taste it before you leave. It's really weird. I've got Indian whiskey in here. I've got German whiskey in here. I've got Icelandic whiskey in here. They're just all so different and unique than Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey that tastes like Evan Williams bottled and bond. Right?
Yeah.
Not that I don't love that stuff.
No.
But that's
great bourbon.
Typically what I do is you tasted a few things for me before we started. I just wanted to get your opinion before we started filming. But typically what I'll do is I'd say, okay, if we're going to evaluate whiskey today, you need to acclimate your palate to a traditional whiskey. And I use Evan Williams bottled and bond. It's as traditional as traditional gets. Now, for me, water greatly helped that. Yeah,
you know what? When I tried it earlier, wasn't a huge fan. It was kind of funky. There's something different about it.
Super unique.
But try number 2, taste test. I mean,
I don't mind it as much. One of the things that I look for when I go to a place like the Blind Pig or even Total Wine, right? It doesn't matter where I go. I want something that I don't think you have.
Yeah.
Because I want you to be able to come over and say, I've never had that.
Yep.
Can I try that? So there was a couple friends of mine. You actually probably know them from town here. Chris and I live in the same town, really close to each other. They were over here and they're like, oh, can we do a tasting? I'm like, that's what this is for. Yes. What do you want to try? Birthday bourbon. Of all the things here you can try, like it. Okay, I get it, right? Birthday. Well, one guy said, I want to try Heaven Hill bottled and bond. Never had it before.
Wow.
Okay. But there's so many
unique,
and nobody would know this, but like you really want to try Stolen Wolf, like out of Pennsylvania. Like, this is my favorite new distillery, and hopefully we can hook them up with the Blind Pig and get a single barrel from those guys. This stuff is amazing. Maybe when we have a cigar here in a little bit, I'll make you a pour of that stuff. It'll blow your socks off. Their apple brandy is out of this freaking world.
Really?
Oh my goodness. Yes. And I'll talk about apple brandy all day long because I love it. And so the next thing I'm going to have you taste, just because I want you to understand a little bit what the Blind Pig does, because the last bottle, I think, is in a league of its own with this. This is their Smoke Wagon pick. This is sold out. So I had the opportunity to review this when they still had some.
I'm excited. I never had a Smoke Wagon at all.
Okay. So what's interesting to me is, I'm not a Smoke Wagon fan.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say that. Like, Smoke Wagon's fine, right? I've never thought, oh my God, this stuff is amazing. And then David's like, here, try my Smoke Wagon. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This is a special occasion bottle. And you can see how much I've drank, and I got to slow that down. This is a special occasion bottle. I'm sorry you can't get it anymore, but we're going to talk about this bottle specifically because I want you to understand the Blind Pig. Oh yeah, they do a cool job. If I'm not mistaken, it's MGP.
Yeah, I think it's Las Vegas, right? But I'm pretty sure
aged and bottled in Las Vegas, distilled in Indiana. It's MGP.
It is MGP. Yeah.
So I've got a bunch of their stuff that I've just accumulated over the years. But this is what I like to call special occasion whiskey. You're going to be a grandpa. You're going to, those type of things. You break out this bottle and then you crush it. I think it would be so good with a cigar. It's high proof, right? You can get some
Really?
56.7. So what's that? 113.6, something like that.
I wouldn't have guessed that, to be honest with you. That's nice. That is really nice. Yeah. And they're out of it.
They sold this extremely fast. I think they sold out of this, and they may have sold out of their Elijah Craig. And Elijah Craig's
I can understand why. If you tried this there, you're buying a bottle.
You're buying
this
a bottle.
This is good.
And you can see the price tag on it. It's fine.
Yeah, it's not even that bad. Yeah,
it's fine. They're right in the middle of Tourism Central, and their prices. Gosh, if you haven't been there, the things that they have there, if you're not from Kentucky, are amazing. Like, we're from Indiana, so we get a lot of whiskey in Indiana.
Yeah,
but you can go down there and spend $30,000 on stuff you don't have.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah, I'm gonna try this with a drop of water. I think this is amazing whiskey. You want one?
Yeah.
This is one of those things that I kind of kicked myself in the ass because I tasted it. I should have called David, because we're buddies, and said, slide one of those in the back room and I'll grab it from you. I'll buy it next time I'm there to have a backup.
Yeah. It's good. It is a really nice.
So these are the type of bottles when you have this kind of collection, that when people come over, you don't say, hey, you got to try this because it needs to last forever.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of bottles like that. And most of them are store picks.
Yeah.
Because they're so off profile that they're just excellent. So I just wanted to talk about that bottle a little bit, because the next bottle I'm going to talk about.
Store picks don't get enough credit. They really don't. No. Everyone's looking for the allocated unicorns. Hey, what a good store pick. I mean, if you did a blind with them, they'll probably beat them almost every time.
That is the unicorn, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you're welcome to do that if you want to shake out your glass. So the next bottle we're going to talk about is the last store pick they have available today. This should sell out. I like it better than the Smoke Wagon. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to let the cat out of the bag. It's another MGP product, and it's Buzzard's Roost. Have you had any Buzzard's Roost before?
I have, actually.
So I've got a couple of things from them. I'm a big fan. I met Ryan, who's the national sales manager here recently, at an event in the same building you work in.
No kidding.
Yep. Raising Spirits.
Yep, Raising Spirits, yeah.
So this is 113.2 proof. It's got enough proof to be really good, but it's not crazy. It's a toasted single barrel.
Okay. I do like toasted bourbons. I do.
So this is along the lines of that Smoke Wagon, in my opinion. It's special. I don't know if there's a price tag on this. We'll look here, but it's reasonable.
I believe this is a female owned.
I cannot answer that.
I think it is.
There's not a price, and like I said, we don't talk about price, but it's less than that. Keep that in mind.
No kidding.
This is another MGP product. They're located on Main Street, right downtown Louisville, Kentucky. So just a short 30-minute drive down to the Blind Pig Bourbon Bar down in Bardstown. You can get a bottle of this before they sell out, and they're going to, like, I'm probably prepared to say that's my favorite toasted bourbon I've ever had.
That's really
toasted
nice.
Double oak, whatever you want to call it.
That's good. That
like if you taste that, you wouldn't say that's 100 and
no. You say 113.
113.
Yeah,
you'd be like, that's 83.
Yeah, there's no heat to it. It's nice.
It's really sweet. The caramels and the brown sugars, and that's what I love in a whiskey. It's. So if I do this, we'll see, right? Because as you know, I took some time off when I moved studios and all this, and things were really hectic around here. If I would do these awards, right, like the end of the year, like if I reviewed it and I picked a whiskey of the year, that is certainly in contention of everything I've drank this year.
Yeah, that's really nice.
So
Smoke Wagon.
I've given you an idea what it cost, right?
Yep.
No problem.
Not a problem at all. No. Not a three figures thing.
Yeah, it's less than $100.
Yep.
It's about $150 in my opinion.
They're selling themselves short. Hey, tell them.
Don't
buy a bottle first. Yeah, I'll go buy a bottle first before.
So these are the things, right, that every once in a while you get to find, only because I do what I do.
Yeah.
So somebody asked me, how much money do you make doing bourbon battles? I think Chris knows the answer to this. It's way negative.
Yeah.
But some people support me and do some different things, and I get free whiskey.
Yeah.
I get some really good free whiskey, and this is one of the best. I get
support this man on Patreon. Let's go, people.
That's right. I also get some really bad free whiskey.
Right.
So I make a deal.
But in other people's eyes, those are good whiskeys.
That's right.
So
people ask me, why does everything get an A or a B or a C? And all, why is everything so good?
Yeah.
Well, because I get other things that I don't review. I don't need to bring bad reviews to anybody. That's just
right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about a distillery earlier. I think you've been to recently, and I don't care for their whiskey at all.
Yep.
They've sent me multiple expressions. I'm not going to review it because I know other people that love it.
Right.
Right. It doesn't do anything for me to tell you that that's silly. That thing with the blue label right in front of us.
Yep.
I hate that.
Really?
That specific one, I hate it. I think it's the worst whiskey in this room.
Yeah. And some people are going to be the exact opposite.
It's got a little peat in it. I can't do that.
They're not a smoky guy.
Right.
Yep. No, this is really good too. Yeah, absolutely.
Great with it. I think this would pair amazing with a cigar.
Mm-hmm.
It's not finished in anything, but you could even mistake it for a finished whiskey.
Yeah, it's got a nice finish. It's good.
So here's what I'm going to tell you. Here's what I'm going to tell everybody. When you're in Kentucky, you're anywhere within 2 hours of Louisville, which we are. You need to go to the Blind Pig Bourbon Market in downtown Bardstown, Kentucky. You need to tell them Bourbon Battles sent you. You need to go down there and plan on spending a little bit of time with David. And if you're smart, you'll take a driver and you'll try some things. And if they have the Buzzard's Roost, you're going to want to, oh my gosh, that's so good. They also have a Lincoln Pinch. You can try that here in a little bit. That's still available. They have other things still available that I've reviewed before. The Lincoln Pinch is extremely unique, right? I never had that before.
Yeah.
Plenty of stuff down there to choose from. A friend of mine went down there, a guy you work with.
Yep.
Went down there, and he did not buy a store pick, but he walked out with a whole bunch of bottles. Awesome.
Yeah, that's fine.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to buy the store picks. But if you're driving through Bardstown and you don't stop there, you've done yourself a real disservice.
Absolutely.
So,
it's a cool place.
Yeah, check it out. Hey, thanks for watching. My name's Joe. This is Chris. Chris is going to join us for another episode. Maybe I can talk him into 2. And I want to remind you, drinking bourbon is supposed to be fun. Do it with your friends. Do it responsibly. Drink store picks. But whatever you do, don't drink and drive. Cheers.
If you drink, don't drive. Do the watermelon crawl.